Facebook as well. Perfect. Yes, live on Facebook. So apologies for that. And I know on Facebook it's sometimes challenging to find me, and I think someone said the same on Instagram, that it can be challenging to find the video. It's just not coming up, or you have to kind of try to go in and out of the page. But I will move some of the classes, not all the classes, but some of the classes I'll put on a Facebook group, and I'll link to that in the profile. And the Facebook page, or the Facebook group, is Sacred Self-Care Alchemy. So that is where it will be. Hello, Mama Luna. So yeah. So we are kind of coming up to 11 o'clock. So we will start shortly. And if you're on Facebook, if you can write a comment, just because I'm doing this on the computer rather than on the phone, so I love to see if I can see the comments on there. I can see the notifications, but I don't know if that's comments for this video. But hopefully you can hear me. And if you can't, I'm sure you will put a comment. If you have a yoga belt, please take a belt. If not, that's fine as well. Have some socks, or you can even use your t-shirt, sweatshirt, just so we have something to hold on to later on in the session. And we'll just start in a comfortable seat. So I'm just sitting cross-legged. You can sit on some cushions. You can sit onto your heels. So whatever variation works for you. So if you feel you're rounding the back, if you're cross-legged and your knees are high and you're collapsing onto the sacrum, then sit on some cushions or a yoga block to give yourself more space, so that your knees are kind of same height as your hips or lower. So if you're collapsing and your knees are high, sit on something. So you sit right on the sitting bones. And maybe as we just work with this, then I can show you the pelvis so you can understand. You can feel your sitting bones, because if you put your hands underneath your buttocks, and maybe do that if you're cross-legged, sitting on a chair, and you move around, you will probably feel some bones, round bones on your fingertips. These are your sitting bones. So, and I'll show on a pelvis. So this is a shape of the female pelvis, and this is kind of the size and shape of a average female pelvis. So these are your sitting bones. So you can see, I can't see that on the Facebook so well. You can see, maybe imagine the sitting bones down here. So as you sit, you can kind of just feel them. So you don't want to sit towards the back on the sacrum, that flat bone at the back to the tailbone. You don't want to arch the back, but you want to sit somewhere in between. And we can rest the hands on the lower belly, maybe in this yoni mudra, thumbs together, index fingers together, pointing down. You can close the eyes. And we'll just stay seated for a little while. And you may notice that you're still moving around on the sitting bones, forward and backwards, side to side. And then just allow that gentle movement. So We can think of this downward pointing triangle as a yoni mudra. Yoni is the word for, sometimes we think of a sacred cave, a sacred portal, but also the female reproductive system. So the whole of the female sexual organs. And this is what you're connecting with as your hands are resting on your lower belly. If you're just joining, again, your hands can just rest here on the lower belly. You can close the eyes. Or just have a soft gaze. And it's absolutely fine for you just to have little movements, maybe little circulations or rotations. So you are connecting with your roots, the roots of your body, your pelvic floor, down through the legs into the earth. And allowing a bit of fluidity. So feeling that fluid movement. And as you stay in this little meditation, you can even sense that fluidity rising all the way up along the spine. So the spine is fluid all the way up through the navel center, through the center of your heart, to the pit of your throat, all the way to the middle of the head. Wonderful. We think of this channel along the spine as the Sushumna Nadi. And again, you can just take a few moments here, just sitting, maybe with the eyes closed, breathing. And I'll read just a little bit from the Vijnana Tantra, the translation, the Radiant Sutra. And it says, there is a current of love energy that flows between the earth below and the sun above. The central channel of your spine is a riverbed. The streaming is as delicate and powerful as the tinkling touch of lovers. Entering here, radiance arch between above and below. The whole attention resting in the nerve, vibrating in the center of the spinal column. Tracing this current between earth and sun, becoming magnetism relating all the worlds. So we are connecting with this current of love energy that flows between earth below and the sun above. And the central channel of the spine is the riverbed. So let's keep one hand on the lower belly, one hand to the center of the chest, so to your energetic heart. And feel that fluidity through the pelvis, the lightness and the spaciousness around the heart. Take a deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Deep breath in. And out. Bring both hands to the center of the chest. And so as we are flowing with ease and compassion, maybe at the center of your heart, you have a very special intention, a prayer, a dedication. We're just entered the new moon cycle, so new lunar cycle. So as we grow into this abundant moon, the waxing moon, what intentions are you manifesting? What qualities are you growing? And so from here, we will start with a single Om. So let's breathe in together. Lovely. So when you're ready, we'll come onto the hands and knees. And I'll shift onto my mat. And if you just joined us, nice to see you, Jackie. So come onto your hands and knees on the floor on your mat and we'll start to move. So the movement or the energy around the pelvis is the earth and the water elements that can be very stagnant and heavy, but also fluid. So we'll start from that earth energy of stability and we'll just move in little circular movements on the mat from the hands and knees. But from that steadiness and groundedness, so we can feel the palms of the hands on the ground, we can feel the muscles supporting our bones, yet there's fluidity through the spine. And then let's move up towards the shoulders. So feel the movement in the shoulders, maybe really spread or lift up into your shoulder blades. So you spread the shoulder blades away from each other, stretching there. Move the shoulder blades towards each other, stretching them out. So this is the element of air around the heart and in the neck. So you can relax the neck, you can release the jaw, the tongue. So the element around the throat is the element of space, so find space. This is what we will find a little bit more openness here. Wonderful. So just take a few moments, just finding that fluidity in the body, however your body wants to flow and to move. So there's no right or wrong. You're just allowing your body to be creative. And then from here, I'll always give options. One option can be that you at any time in your practice come to child's pose, sitting to the heels. The head can come to the floor or to a block. Another option will be to come into a downward facing dog. Downward dog, you lift your knees, your hips off the floor. And again, really ground through the hands, lifting through the hips. The heels can move towards the earth. They're grounding to the earth. But you don't need to straighten the legs or press the heels down. That's an option. What you want is that nice long spine. So spaciousness for that riverbed along the spine. Wherever you are, take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Take your feet wide apart, probably mat distance. Walk your hands back to your feet in a standing forward bend. You can bring the forearms to the thighs. You can bend your knees. So these are options that are always welcome. Again, relax the neck. Let the crown of the head become heavy. You can shake it out gently. Stretch out the jaw, the tongue. Any tensions and restrictions in the face, you can release them. Everyone, bring your forearms to your thighs. Bend the knees a little bit deeper. I'll just come a bit further forward. We'll move here, and we've done that before a couple of weeks ago where we moved from the pelvis. Now the focus is higher, but we can start from the earth. As you inhale, tailbone to pubic bone, you're rounding the back, the hip drops. That's the inhale. The exhale, you lift the sitting bones, your heart extends. So the inhale, rounding the back, hip drops. Exhale, extend the heart forward. So keep this movement going. If you're used to this movement, you can start to work with the pelvic floor as well. Inhale as the tailbone tucks, you connect to the pelvic floor. And exhale, you can release. So when we did this a couple of weeks ago, we really worked on the pelvic floor. But now feel the openness as you look forward across the collarbones. And then as you breathe in, really spread between the shoulder blades and let the neck relax. So enjoy a few more pulsations like this. Exhaling through the mouth. Inhale, spread between the shoulder bones or shoulder blades. Exhale through the mouth, shoulders away from the ears. Just twice more. Inhaling. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And stay looking forward. Draw the front ribs slightly in. Extend your arms above your head. If that's too much, just take them forward. Lift up into a chair pose. Your knees stay bent. So chair pose with the knees bent. The feet can stay wide apart. Feel that solidity for the moment through your thighs, through your glutes, through your legs. That's the earth element, what keeps us grounded and steady. Inhale, rise up. Hands to the center of the heart. Beautiful. So we can keep the feet apart. And obviously if you're pregnant, always just keep your feet a bit wider. Inhale, raise your prayer to the sky, to the sun. Exhale, fold it forward, hands either to your thighs or to the earth. Inhale, we come halfway up, so hands can stay on the floor on the shins. And then we fold it deeply as we exhale. Walk your hands either to a downward dog or to a child's pose. Again, your choice. And we can find the stability here. And through that stability, allow the neck to relax. The head is heavy. And in this variation, you're not holding your head. You can just relax. Let's meet on the hands and knees. Step your left foot to the outside of the left hand. You can grab hold of the foot to take it forward. Lift the chest up. Bring one hand to your womb space, one hand to the sacrum. And just notice if you're arching your back a lot, then draw the tailbone down and lift the pubic bone slightly to the navel. Front ribs can relax into the body. Reach your arms up. And then as you exhale, you can lower the pelvis down, but you keep that support in your lower back. And then spread across the collarbones, elbows bent back. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale to rise. Exhale to ground. So just your own rhythm. And then go ahead and bring that left forearm to the left thigh. Right foot can move slightly behind you. And then again, we move from our hearts. So extend that right arm away from you, really broad across the collarbone so your heart can shine its light. From here, extend the right arm all the way behind you, down towards the floor and out in front. So we are circling that right arm while we stay stable and grounded through the left leg. So the element of air in the heart area, space around your throat and neck. This is the expression, compassion, devotion, love from our heart, and how we speak our truth at the Vishuddhi chakra at the throat center. So we are creating space to speak our truth. Bring the hands to the floor, turn that right leg behind you, straighten the right leg, keep that left knee over the left heel, feel a bit of strength, and keep pressing into that right foot. Beautiful. We'll walk the hands to our right side. Both legs can straighten, and you just square your feet again. Outer edges of the feet are parallel. You can keep the hands on the floor, or you interlock your fingers behind you, or you take your belt or your sock, grab hold of your belt behind your back, and fold forward. Just take a few moments here of just breathing, allowing so you can stay where you are, but really allow your neck to relax. It can be so challenging to let the neck release. So in your forward bend, take this opportunity to let the neck relax. Our head can be hard, very heavy, so take this moment just to release it. And so from here, release your hands to the earth, come halfway up. We'll walk our hands towards the right foot, left knee comes down to the earth, lift the chest up. Again, hand on womb and sacrum, so finding that tilt through the pelvis. And then the head can just rest on top of the spine. Reach your arms to the sky. Take a deep breath in, lift the rib cage. Exhale, spread across the collarbones, elbows bent back. Inhale to rise. Exhale, grounding down. So again, just your own rhythm, your own pulsation, and feel that sensation of really broadening the collarbones, spreading across the chest. Let your shoulder blades relax. Really nice. Perfect. Bring that right forearm onto your right thigh. Left toes can point slightly back. And then we circle that left upper arm, extending the left arm to the sky, all the way behind you, down to the floor. And freeing up the space around the heart. Physical heart, energetic heart, spiritual heart. And then again, bring both hands to the inside of the right foot. Straighten out the back leg. Press into the ball of the foot. And let's keep that connection grounded to the pelvis. So right thigh bone draws back, left thigh bone forward. You feel that connection to your pelvis. Heart can extend shoulders away from the ears. Really nice. Let's come into a downward facing dog or a child's pose. Now, if you're in a downward dog, again, you can bend one knee, stretch the other heel down, release the neck, the jaw, the face. You can also just be on your hands and knees, which is absolutely fine as well. Step the feet mat distance apart. Walk your hands back to your feet into a standing forward bend, hands on the floor or on your thighs. Inhale to come halfway up, lengthening through the spine, and fold it all the way. Beautiful. Inhale, come halfway up. This time bring the hands to the hips, so with a straight back. You can rise all the way to standing. Hands to your womb, hand to your heart. Just take a deep breath in and deep breath out. Deep breath in and out. Inhale, reach your arms all the way above the head. Grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand and just extend. We'll stretch to the right side. Again, feel that openness between every rib in your rib cage to your left side. And then come back up again and to the other side. We are creating space to breathe, space to feel, space to express. Rise all the way back up. Bring your hands to the center of the heart, and once again we flow. So let's inhale, reach the prayer to the sun, to the sky. Exhale, fold it forward, standing forward, bend hands to the earth. That connection between the sun and the earth below. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthening the spine, and then fold it all the way. Walk your hands forward, hands and knees, or into your downward facing dog, and breathe. From here we can step the feet together or closer towards each other if together is too much. Extend your left leg behind you so you're in a one-legged downward facing dog, and then both feet downward dog. Inhale, reach your right leg behind you, and then step the right foot forward either to the inside or the outside of the right foot. Left foot flat, warrior two pose. Beautiful. So in your warrior two, find the stability, strength. Feel still the connection to the earth. Warrior, powerful, strong. And so again, we want to find space in the ribs to breathe. So let's take left hand to left thigh, right arm reaches. So again, that space in your ribs. And we'll come into extended side angle pose. Right forearm to right thigh, left arm beyond the head. The inhale, you rise up, hand on thigh or womb. Exhale, extended side angle. Beautiful. So again, your own rhythm. And next time your right arm extends towards the sky, straighten both legs. Keep that right thigh rotating out. We'll come into triangle pose, so your hips move towards your left, right arm all the way beyond your right toes. Hand to your thigh, shin the floor, left hand to the left hip. And here you can almost imagine the left shoulder points to the ceiling, but you're rotating up to the ceiling without just moving your shoulder, but moving into the shoulder. So you're not just swinging around, but you're drawing into your shoulder blade. And once you have this, you can extend your arm to the sky and breathe. Let's meet in warrior two pose. Right knee bends, arms extend. Straighten both legs, hands to the hips. Turn your toes to the long side of the mat. We'll fold forward again. So bringing your hands to your thighs, the floor, or you can interlock your fingers behind your back. Take your belt or whatever alternative you have and fold forward. And if your hands are behind your back, either with the belt or with your hands, see if you can almost squeeze between the shoulder blades. So you can kind of stretch to one side, then the other side. So really as if you are cleaning the space between the shoulder blades, cleaning the thoracic spine, squeezing out any tension, any debris that's there holding you back, that's restricting you. So feeling that movement of potential openness. Really lovely. Release the hands to the floor. We'll walk the hands towards the left foot this time. Downward facing dog. Breathe in and breathe out. So from our downward dog, we can step the feet together. Reach your right leg behind you. Find space in the body, maybe even a bit of openness in the hips. Downward facing dog again. And then left leg extends behind you. And your choice, step the left foot to the outside or inside of the left foot. Warrior two pose. Perfect. So keep that left thigh rotating out. Right foot pressing down, probably pointing slightly in, so it's aligned with your right hip joint, or hip point, knee and toes. Bring your right hand to your womb, left arm to the sky. Find that extension, but keeping that left knee bent. And then extended side angle. So your own rhythm, the inhale to rise. Exhale, extend. So keep this movement going just in your own rhythm, feeling that fluidity in the body. And notice how your body is breathing, that expansion and contraction of the breath. The fluidity, your expression of this variation. Next time the left arm extends to the sky, stay here. Keep that left thigh bone rotating out as you straighten both legs and extend all the way beyond your left toes to the floor, the thigh, right hand to your right hip. And so it's almost like you're connecting the hip, the part of the pelvis, down to your right foot. So feel that connection. You press your right foot to the earth, you feel the thigh bone lifting up into your hand, into your hip. And again, keeping that shoulder as pointing up towards the ceiling, and your heart, your chest moves into that right shoulder blade. We think of open hips, open heart. And then from here you can choose to extend your arm. And from here, come back to your warrior two, bending that left knee. Bring your hands to your left foot, down the dog, child's pose, or just moving on your hands and knees. Everyone come onto your knees, so your knees are on the floor. Sit back onto your heels. If that bothers your knees, come straight into a cross-legged position. Bring your fingertips behind you. Lift through the heart. So opening into your front body, stay here, or lift your hips away from your heels. Sit all the way down. Bring your knees apart and then rest between your legs into a child's pose. So knees wide apart. Head can be on your hands. You can make fist, one fist on top of the other. Or you can rest your heart towards the earth. Just stay here breathing. Okay. Letting your breath just feel the body. Allowing the heart to connect to the earth. So we started with this verse from the Vijnana Bhaira Tantra. There is a current of love energy that flows between the earth below and the sun above. The central channel of your spine is the riverbed. So how does the spine move? How is the river in the riverbed in this variation? Lovely. So let's create a little bit more movement for this riverbed to flow. So from your child's pose, lift your hips over your knees. Your head can stay on the floor, so let's just keep the head and the forearms on the floor. And then keeping the left forearm on the floor, you walk your right hand forward as far as you can. So If you are not sure, you can look at me. Your left forearm is on the floor. Your right fingertips are walking away from you. The palm of the hand is off the floor. And you really stretch as much as you can. Keep your sitting bones drawing back. And keep the pelvis as level as possible. Bring that right forearm back down again. The head can come back to the floor. Left fingertips walks forward. And you can imagine that the pelvis is stretching back. Your head is grounding you, but your left fingertips, your left arm is extending. So that nice long line from your left wrist to your left hip. Bring the forearm down, shift back to your hands and knees, and we'll come into this rolling cat movement we've done the last few Saturdays. Knees stays apart, sit to the heels, forearms on the floor. From here, the heart extends forward as it comes to your elbows lift, and you shift shoulders over the heels of the hands, broadening across the collarbones, and then round the back to sit to your heels. Perfect. The inhale, you can come forward, feel that rolling movement with the spine, and sit to the heels. So just finding a bit of fluidity, openness, and lightness. Wonderful. So we'll meet on the hands and knees. Take your knees a little bit closer towards each other. And go ahead and turn your left foot further out to the side. Right leg turns in. So we're in this kind of half side plank variation. Right leg is straight, foot is on the earth, left knee is on the floor. You can extend your right arm towards the sky or all the way beyond your head and just feel that space to breathe into. Lift the right foot off the floor, so almost like a half moon pose, Adi Chandrasana, and then just feel the openness and the strength. Slowly come back down again. You can come into a plank pose or enjoy hands and knees. So find that variation that works for you. If you're in plank pose, lift up into your shoulder blades. Press into the balls of the feet and breathe. And imagine a bit of lightness and ease in your neck. Bring the knees down. Right foot comes out to the side, left leg straightens. And again, you're in that half plank pose variation. And you can keep the left arm beyond your head or towards the sky as we lift the left leg off the floor. So again, we're in that kind of half moon pose variation with the right knee on the ground. So you're strengthening into your hips, but there's still that freedom across the chest and in your neck. Bring the foot back down, come into your plank pose or hands and knees. So if you want a more fluid practice, just enjoy hands and knees fluidity or find the stability through your plank pose. Everyone, downward facing dog, lift your hips high, breathe in and breathe out. Let's step the feet wide apart, maybe as wide as your mat or shoulder distance. Walk your hands back to your feet. Inhale, lengthen through the spine and fold it all the way. Let's do that again. Inhale to extend and exhale to fold. Come halfway up. Bring the hands to the hips. and rise all the way to standing. Again, from your standing, you can bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your womb space. Just take a few moments just here to breathe. And in your breath, can you feel a connection from your womb to your heart? From your heart to your womb. Can you hear or imagine the sound in your throat? How does your womb wisdom want to express itself? Through your heart, through your throat. So we say open heart, open hips, open hips, open heart, because so much emotion is locked in our pelvis. So if that's open, we can feel from our hearts. So we will open up a little bit more into the hips. We'll come into tree pose, Prakasana. You can always be by a wall, so if you need or want that support, then just go ahead and have that support. Otherwise, we are rooting into the earth through the left foot. So like a tree, you're rooting down into the earth with the left leg. Right knee can bend and then rotate out. So you can have the foot to the inside of your thigh, above your knee, below your knee, or even on the floor on a block. But you find a space where you feel stability. And if you have that perfect stability, you'll move because everything is moving. We are never completely still. There's always some kind of pulsation in the body. But if you feel stable enough, rest your right hand on your right thigh, left arm towards the sky. And then you can slide that right hand down towards your knee, stretching into your left side. And slowly rising all the way back up. Release your arms, bring the right knee forward and place it back down to the floor. And like a tree, rooting down into the earth below. And like a tree, we expand, rising to the sun. Bring the left knee in, again, the foot either above or below the knee, never on the actual knee. Feel the stability through the pelvis. Maybe hand on heart and womb, or hands to your heart. And even if we envision this connection as a tree, we still have that riverbed. We still have the connection from drinking the water from the earth to nourish. And then we can expand. So maybe that right arm towards the sky, side stretch. And slowly release the arms. Bring the knee forward, release the foot to the earth. Again, hand to heart and womb. Maybe again, there's a little bit of movement and fluidity in the body. Wonderful. So standing at the end of the mat again. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Inhale, reach to the sky, to the sun. Draw all that energy all the way through your central channel, the riverbed, down to the earth. Inhale, lengthen through the spine and fold it as you exhale. Walk your hands forward, downward facing dog. Step the feet together. Inhale, reach your left leg behind you. Downward facing dog again. Right leg extends. And again, your choice. Step the foot between or to the outside of the right hand, back foot flat, warrior two. Straighten both legs, triangle pose. Again, bring your left hand to your left hip. We'll come into Ardha Chandrasana or half moon pose. So now you can stay. I'm going to step my right foot further back, but usually I would say left foot further forward. But for the purpose of being in the camera, come into this small triangle pose here. Bring your right fingertips just a foot in front of your right toes and extend your left leg behind you. Now this is essentially like a triangle pose, Trikonasana. So you want space. Another variation is if you have a sofa table or a chair, you can bring your right fingertips onto the chair and then extend. And you can imagine your heart can lift towards the sky, having space. Now, if this feels really uncomfortable in your hip joints or in your sacroiliac joint, especially if you're pregnant, come out of the pose again and just enjoy a triangle pose variation. You could do this leaning against the wall if balance is an issue or you need to be mindful when you're balancing. So you can literally do this leaning against the wall, being really mindful of what's going on, especially in that standing leg in the hip. And then come all the way back, warrior two pose. Bring your hands to the inside of the right foot, straighten that right leg, toes point down, feel that strength of the leg, extend for the crown of the head, releasing the neck, the jaw, the tongue. Walk your hands all the way towards your left foot, left toes point forward, straightening that right leg. Feel stability, broaden the collarbones. So it's like your left hip is moving back, but your heart is moving forward. You're creating space. Turn the back foot flat, right foot flat, warrior two pose. Straighten both legs, triangle pose, left hand to your thigh, shin flow. Let's again bring that right hand to the right hip. Step your feet a little bit closer so you come into a smaller triangle pose. Keep the left thigh bone hugging in, heart extends to the sky, left hand to the floor or to the chair, whatever you reach. Half moon pose as you extend your right leg away from you. You can extend the right arm to the sky. And so I love this pose. I think it's just so open and it gives freedom. For me, this is the space and the air element because it is the half moon that's in the sky. It's a half moon that's just shining bright in all directions. For me, it's like a star, and sometimes we're falling stars, shooting stars. But it's that openness, even in the throat, around the chest, your legs are extending, you're just shining bright. So what are you shining? What's your light? What's your expression? Release back, warrior two pose. Bring the hands to your left foot, downward dog or a child's pose. Bring the knees to the earth. Lift the right foot towards the ceiling. Lift with the chest, broaden the collarbones. Bring the knee back down. Left foot lifts. Bring the knee back down again, tuck the toes under. You'll sit to your heels. So stay for a short moment. So if this bothers your knees, sit cross-legged. If you feel a sensation to the back of your legs, it's not a problem. Or towards the back of your feet, usually not a problem. Let's meet standing on our knees. I'll come a little bit closer. You'll take your right hand to the sacrum. So that's that flat bone at the back, the triangle bone at the back between your buttocks. Take your left hand behind your head, and you can almost hold the back of your head. Lengthen the neck. Tailbone draws down, and you can keep lengthening the neck as you come into your back bend. But there's space in your neck, space in your heart space, even in your lumbar spine. And then slowly come back up. Sit to the heels. Lovely. Really wonderful. So we'll do this on the other side. So come back onto your knees. Take your left hand to the sacrum, right hand behind the head. Again, drawing the tailbone down, lengthen the spine, even in your back body. The head is heavy. And so because the head is heavy, that's why you're holding the head. So you can really, truly lengthen. So you have that extension in the back of the neck. You're supported to express freely. You're being held. And then come all the way back up. Sit to the heels. We'll come into child's pose for a few moments. So you can rest down and breathe. So just stay here for a few moments in a child's pose, sitting to the heels, hip to the earth. And so we talk about the throat. The musculature of the throat is very closely related to that of the pelvis and the pelvic floor and the vaginal canal. So we can, through the ease of the throat and the neck that's now relaxed in child's pose, find a bit of pulsation through the pelvic floor. So just playing around, imagining you can engage and lift the pelvic floor and then softly release it. You can do it however you want to do it, slowly, fast, with the breath, not with the breath, as long as you're breathing. And it is as if you're moving towards the vaginal canal, the walls of the vagina moving towards each other and up towards your cervix. And as you pay attention, notice if anywhere feels restricted or if it feels strong and powerful. What's the potential for strength and stability, for release and softness and sensitivity, for pleasure, for passion. Maybe there are places in your pelvis you want to awaken. So this is just that exploration of connecting to the pelvic floor. And how does that express itself? And if there was that energetic connection, physical connection from the pelvic floor to how we express through the throat, how can we shift that? How can we embrace it? How can we improve it, enhance it, or connect with it? Just a couple of more breaths here. So we'll stay in the child's pose for a little bit longer, just keeping that connection to the pelvic floor. And if you are on Instagram, you will slowly come out, because Instagram is going to switch off the live in a minute. In a moment, I'm going to switch it off before, and I'll restart the live on Instagram. Facebook, you just stay with this connection. But if you're on Instagram, You'll have a little pause where I'm going to switch up and you're going to switch on again, or I'm going to switch on the live again. So staying in child's pose, but on Instagram, I'm going to shift. And if you're still working with these pulsations, then we're still in the child's pose, connecting to the pelvic floor, the vaginal canal. So just again, that expression of how do you connect? Where do you feel disconnected? Where do you feel a lot of sensation? So allowing this exploration. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So just welcoming this connection to the pelvis and the pelvic floor. And so when we are ready, we'll move to hands and knees or into a downward dog. So you can wriggle around on the hands and knees. You can come into a downward dog, whichever variation feels perfect in your body right now. And so again, if you had the little pause on Instagram, we are back in a downward dog or a hands and knees. But we'll meet in a downward facing dog. And then from our downward facing dog, lift into, coming into your downward dog, we'll extend the left leg behind us, maybe open into the hips a little bit, just finding a bit more space and lightness, stretch it all out. Square the hips, downward dog again, and then the right leg extends. And again, you can open into the hips if that feels good. Square the hips, step your right foot between the hands, back foot flat, warrior two. Straighten the legs, triangle pose. One more time, we'll come into our half moon pose, Adho Chandrasana. So if you want to use the wall, do this against the wall. Otherwise, when you're ready, we'll shift into our half moon pose, extending that left leg behind us, finding spaciousness and openness and balance. Your choice, stay here or bend that left knee. To grab hold of it, you probably need to bend the right leg as well. So now you can hold on to that left foot. The left foot can press away from you, so you open across the chest. Right fingertips can stay on the ground, or you could bring your right hand to your heart. Wonderful. Slowly release all the way back out. Warrior two, bring the hands to the hips, straighten the legs. Let's keep the feet wide apart. Extend your heart forward. And keeping your hips aligned with your heels, you're walking your hands forward. So sliding your hands forward as your pelvis extends back. So basically you're stretching into the pelvic floor. You're stretching into your ribs. Your head can relax. Walk the hands all the way back, hands to the hips, and left foot turns out. Come into your triangle pose, left hand to left leg or foot, right hand to your hip, and then we flow into our half moon pose variation. So as you come into your half moon pose, I'll move a little bit closer to you. So left hand to the outside of the left foot, bend your right leg behind you. Might have to bend the left leg, and then you hold on to the foot to open your chest. And then your heart can lift towards the sun, towards the sky. And you may come in and out of this pose a couple of times, just finding your flow. Slowly shift back, warrior two pose. Bring the hands to the left foot, downward facing dog. Again, bring the knees to the floor, knees wide apart. Sit to your heels, come into child's pose. Again, your head can rest on your hands or your heart to the earth. So being in child's pose. And breathe. The expansion, the contraction of the breath. Really wonderful. And slowly come up to a comfortable seat. And like before, you can sit on a couple of cushions, a block, just to have that stability through the pelvis. So the spine, the riverbed is flowing freely from the earth below to the sun and the sky above. So as we freed up this movement, we'll just come into just a gentle twist. So you can just take the right hand behind us, but opening across the collarbones. Maybe gazing over the right shoulder, keeping the right hand behind us, and then gently look forward, and then back again. So just little movements through the head, releasing tension in the neck. And coming back into the middle, right hand to the right knee, left arm behind you. And again, you can gaze over your left shoulder and over the right. So where the pelvis is the watery element of our expression, creativity, our sexuality, our expression. The throat is how we express ourselves. So we can release tension through the throat as well to express everything that we connect with in the pelvis, but also the truth in the core, our love, our compassion, our devotion, and our heart. Beautiful. Facing forward again. Release your hands by your knees. And we'll keep that connection from the riverbed through the earth to the sun above. We can imagine the inhale rising and the exhale descending. So you can here connect with the pelvic floor muscles again. So as you inhale, so this is kind of the energetic breath. Inhale, imagine the vaginal muscles engaging, or the pelvic floor muscles engaging up towards the cervix, and then feel the energy rising all the way along the spine to the middle of the head, and then that openness. Then on the exhale, the energy is flowing back down, and you can slowly release and soften the pelvic floor. If you can't connect with the pelvic floor, it's too much, just imagine the breath. And we use the hands here as well, prana mudra. Inhaling, the energy rises up along the spine, along the riverbed, to the middle of the head, expanding out. And exhale all the way through the center line to the earth. Just your own rhythm, inhaling the arms along the front of the body to the middle of the head, expanding. Exhaling down. Two more rounds. And after your next exhale, you can rest your hands over your womb space again, maybe in Yoni Mudra, thumbs together, index fingers together, pointing down. And just for a few moments, allowing the body to breathe. Feel the tongue releasing, the jaw, the shoulder blades resting away from the ears. You can stay in a seated meditation as we draw towards the end of the session, or you come into Shavasana. So if you're pregnant, you can lie on your side. And we usually say the left side in pregnancy, but if that hip is really uncomfortable, you lie on your right. You can have blocks or cushions between your knees, or just taking that top leg in front and have cushions and support underneath. Or if you are happy to lie on your back in Shavasana. Just making your little adjustments if you are moving into your Shavasana. So as always, I invite you to stay for as long as you like, and you're in meditation, in your relaxation. But together we'll stay here for a few minutes, and then I will take you out as we come to 1:15 in a few moments. but obviously you can stay as long as you like. So wherever you are, remembering there is a current of love energy that flows between the earth below and the sun above. The central channel of the spine is a riverbed. The streaming is as delicate and powerful as the tingling touch of lovers. Entering here, radiance arches between above and below. The whole attention resting in the nerve, vibrating in the center of the spinal column. Tracing this current between earth and sun, become magnetism relating all the worlds. And you can stay in your meditation or relaxation for as long as you like. But if you have commitments and you are ready to come out, then start to make little movements. If you're lying down, move your fingers, your toes. If you're seated, you can sway or pulsate or rotate. And otherwise, stretching out. And eventually coming up into a comfortable seat. Again, bringing one hand to your womb space, one hand to the center of the chest, your heart space. And feeling this current of love energy from your womb to your heart, from the earth to the sky and to the sun. And so as we start this lunar month, what energy is it that you're radiating from your womb, from your heart, from the expression of your throat? What intentions and qualities are you growing? Maybe that can connect to this current of love. It's always there. So let's bring both palms together in front of our heart in Anjali Mudra prayer. And we conclude here with Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So breathing in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Well, namaste, everyone. Thank you. So thank you so much for joining me again, whether you are here live or you are catching up. So it's always so wonderful to see your names. So if you can, just write a little comment. Even if you're watching on replay, write a little note. And it's my honor to share this practice with you. And if you want to share it, pressing the share button, that would be wonderful. Or share my post or regram, or if you're on Instagram or Facebook, take a photo of your practice and put it on your Instagram and tag me, and I can share it. Because it's always nice to connect with you from my living room to yours. And if you feel you have the ability to donate towards the classes, that's greatly appreciated. But otherwise, you can certainly support me just by making comments and share the videos out as well. And yeah, so thank you so much. And I'll move a little bit closer to the screen. So if you have any comments you want to write, I'll look through them, and hopefully I'll get notifications if you watch this later on. As always, if you have any request either for a theme or shorter classes, longer classes, something else you want to focus on, whether it's yoga nidra, meditation, breathing practices. This class, if you're pregnant, you can join it, but you might want to be, I actually want a specific pregnancy class or postnatal class, or I don't know. Because it sounds like we're probably going to do yoga together in our own space for a little while longer. So any feedback is greatly appreciated. So thank you so much for coming. Namaste. If you want to donate, thank you so much. Donations you can do if you go to the link on my Instagram profile, there's a yogaembodiedonline.com/hello, and there's a link there to my PayPal account. So that's really wonderful. And obviously you might not donate after every class. Maybe, some people suddenly just put money in and then I know they're on for a while. But yeah, on the yogaembodiedonline.com/hello, there is a link to my to donation, and that's through PayPal. But on yogaembodied.com, there will also be links to it for the classes and audio classes links. So thank you so much. Thank you. This is what's so wonderful. Oh, I know I say this again and again, but what's so wonderful for me is, I see these names. Some of you I don't know, and I know you through Instagram or Facebook, and suddenly I feel a bit closer to you. But for those of you I know, suddenly I get all these messages from you, and we haven't practiced for a while, and it's really nice to connect. Let me just check here. Lots of notifications on my Facebook, but I don't know. Okay, so thank you so much. I'm going to switch off, but send me a message or a direct message if you have any other thoughts or requests. So namaste. Thank you. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the weekend.